What's up, good folks? How you doing out there in TV land? It's Hammerhand, the MGTOW monk, and it's always my pleasure to be here with you on any of these momentous occasions where I get to drop in and speak my piece and say what's on my mind and bring a few things to you. Guess what, man? Apparently, eating meat has been linked clinically to white supreme pizzaism. That's code speak, because that's the way that we got to do it here on Used Tubes. Am I wrong? Of course I'm not wrong. Now, you're going to get to see a couple of things in here, and I'm going to show you, courtesy of Yellow Flash, who put this video together. Much thanks, much appreciation to the brother. Does solid work. If you're not subscribed to Yellow Flash, I would suggest that you do so, because if you're over here, well, you'll probably get a whole bunch of shit going on over there as well.
Got a funny one to go over with you guys. So apparently at the Oxford Union, there was a big debate on meat. Should we continue to consume meat? This is a real topic that's going on right now in academia and other outlets.
You are not going to believe, clearly, because you're here right now, unless you're lurking, unless you're working for the motherfucking enemy, you are not going to believe the shit that comes out of these people's mouths. You're not going to believe it. But I'm here to tell you that in 2022, you don't have room anymore for disbelief when it comes to lunacy, when it comes to mediocrity of thought.
So I thought we would take a look at what was happening here. So this is from Townsville Bulletin. Choosing to eat meat linked to white supremacy and a patriarchal worldview. Author Carol Adams has suggested choosing to eat meat is linked to this hateful view during an Oxford Union debate discussing the topic beyond meat in the UK.
Before we go any farther, big ups to everybody in the chat. Thank you for tuning in. Big ups to every one of them wrenches, because you salty motherfuckers handle business, and I appreciate you for it. Let's get back into this.
So I have some clips that we can go over. This comes from Kelvin Robinson over on Twitter. Every time someone asks, what does woke even mean? I'm going to show them this video. Thank you to @ApoCots, APOCTOZ, for sniping the best bits. So apparently this was a debate, but I don't think we need to watch the debate. We can just watch these clips to see how crazy this is. As far as I know, this is a real thing that happened, and these are real talking points. So let's just go through this. It's in 1 minute and 38 seconds, and let's see what are the top woke reasons to not eat meat. Let's go ahead and let's take a look.
I believe we should move beyond all meat. The assumption that the best protein comes from corpses is a racist belief.
Hold on. Maybe this bitch has a point. Are them some white steaks that we're cutting? I mean, maybe. You know, you never, well, no, because now all I got to say, Black Angus. Black Angus. That's some delicious shit right there. Eat it all day. Delicious. Delicious.
So it's racist to eat from corpses. She's, of course, meaning dead cows and stuff like that.
How do you know the animal would have picked you to feed off their corpse?
You know, how do you know that? Because we have to have kinship with the animals. We weren't given dominion over animal life. No, that never happened. Your 10 Commandments, your Bible. Do you know what circling the drain looks like? Have you ever walked into a restroom and seen that big brown ring where the water sits in the toilet, with the calcium, the piss, the shit, the deposits, all of that shit sitting there. And you're like, man, why ain't nobody ever scraped this off or cleaned this fucking toilet up? It's not like they don't want to get their hands dirty, right? They sacrifice their pride because they don't want to touch something that's, not very appetizing. That's this bitch right here. Why hasn't anybody run up on this hoe and touched her up? Why hasn't anybody run up on these people and touched them up? I'd like to thank John F. Kennedy and Ronald Reagan for closing most of the mental institutions in this United States of America, and then fucking Reagan finishing it off. Disgusting.
Ah, excellent strong point. How do we know that the animal would have picked you to eat it?
21st century animal eating requires our complicity in a new colonialism.
You heard that? You colonial motherfuckers. How you doing out there, you meat colonizer? You disgusting two-legged? You bipedal products of fucking masculine superiority? You're disgusting. You disgust me.
Ah, eating animals is colonialism. I see. Definitely something that you should think about.
These events especially affect girls and young women.
Kabam! Oh, man, eating meat. Meat eaters of the world, all you grillers out there, all you 4th of July dads, did you know that you're low-key white supreming your daughters and moms and wives? You disgraceful bigots.
Your hamburger comes with a dose of misogyny.
How come somebody hasn't killed this bitch yet? I mean, what are we, about 30 seconds in? And I'm ready to just jump on the screen and kill the screen. How about you?
Ladies and girls, watch out. That hamburger you're eating is sexist. Let's continue on.
Popular culture is flooded with references to sexy cows, sexy pigs, sexy chickens.
Hold the fuck up. Have any of you heard any other human being reference chickens, cows, or pigs as sexy? Now, if you're in Canada, I'm so sorry to my Canadian bros. But I ain't playing with you. I'm so sorry to my Canadian bros. But when they decriminalized bestiality, yeah, you can get a healthy dose of that shit now. You want some pig corky dick? You can go right up to Canada and get it. No penalty.
Sexy fishes.
What? I've literally never heard any of this in popular culture. Have you? Has somebody seen advertising for sexy cows and sexy chickens? Please comment below and tell me if this is actually a thing.
Who all just want to have fun. Meat eating is also one of the ways gender-based structures of oppression are perpetuated.
Didn't you know that? So all of you women out there that are enjoying your hamburger, your steak, God help you if you like that steak tartare. You're helping to perpetuate toxic masculinity, white supremacism. You have internalized all of it and you accept it. You filthy motherfucking bigots. You bitches. You're not worth your titties. What's wrong with you?
Masculinity, a construct of the gender binary facing constant destabilization, feels always under threat. And
so wait, hold on a second. So
yeah, let's hold on a second. Can anybody believe that this is actually in a state house, a speaker's house? Can anybody here believe it? I can believe it because I've been paying attention. I know exactly where this comes from, and I know exactly where it's heading. And it's going to meet the same kind of dutiful end that all types of tyranny and oppression meet. This is oppression by the weak. You see, when you give the weak a voice, a microphone, a camera, when you give the mentally infirmed the ability to try to speak their truth, what they're going to do is go right after everybody that they hate and despise, irrespective of truth or logic.
So eating meat is a gender construct? What? Okay. That literally, none of this makes any sense. But I'm telling you, like, this lady thinks this is real. There are a lot of people who think all of this shit is real and serious.
And he's not joking when he says that. It's not 1 or 10 or 10,000. It's millions of people who, through the indoctrination of their parents and their grandparents, the end result is this type of fuckery. You're looking at the mouthpiece of 3 generations of societal decay. Do you not think for 1 second that the homogeneity that exists in China and Russia is staring over here right now, licking its fucking chops, and they're not going to have to fire a shot?
It's scary. And there's a lot of them. There are a lot of them. It's not a small little group of people that have thoughts like this. It's a lot.
Eating animals is its protection racket. White supremacists weaponized it, eating meat, eggs, and dairy. And the baiting of liberal men as so-called soy boys are all part of the neo-Nazi messaging.
At least they got the good sense to laugh at this fucking quack, this crackpot. When she put that... when she put the fucking last page down and said the last word, they needed to put cuffs on her and run her the fuck out of there. That's what they needed to do. That's what they needed to do. She needs a nice, padded, comfortable room to sleep in, for about 67 years. Because it'll take at least that long to empty her head of the indoctrination.
To say you care about animals is considered a sign of weakness in a world still committed.
According to who? According to whom? I don't know any person out there that says caring about animals is a sign of weakness. Not one. Now, if you're going to try to equate caring about cows that are going through a processing line or chickens that are going through a processing line, could the process be more humane? Yes, I believe that it could be. Would it be sound to rotate people in and out of those jobs? Yes, I think that it should be done, because it's not a very humane position. It really isn't. So on that point, if that's where this demented motherfucker is pointing that needle, I would agree with that.
To the gender binary.
Listen, you could still care about animals and eat them, first off. This is and now it's part of the gender binary. Let's back it up a little bit here and continue.
Gender binary. Meat eaters, like anti-abortionists, have forgotten that one quality of non-existence is.
See, you can hear with every word that she says that this speech that she has is woven in and out of her ideology. The ideology that she completely and totally embraces, that has a hold of her, that's not going anywhere. Look how old this bitch is. You think she's going to flip? You think she's going to change on a dime? No. Of course she's not. Of course she's not. I saw somebody in the comments just a second ago say word salad. That's exactly what this is. It's fucking world. It's world word salad.
Not having awareness about existence. When all else fails, meat eaters assert that animals are not our equals.
Well, they're not our fucking equals, are they? Because if they were our equals, then they'd be able to hunt us and kill us. And it doesn't happen very often, does it? Unless some stupid-ass moronic human being, I don't know, goes out and tries to take a picture of a 1,000-pound moose that's rutting. And then they get bowled over a big old rock. And then they cry mercilessly, endlessly, about why all of them strong men didn't come and save them. We live in a patriarchy.
Well, they're not our equals. They're not. They're not our equals. How are they? Do they? Okay.
Your laughter. I know some of these must be new ideas, or you think they're fringe or whatever. Our whiteness is part of the problem of meat eating.
You heard that? You should be so ashamed of yourself. Get in the shower right this second and scrub all that white off of you. You busted ass European descendant. What's wrong with you?
I love that everybody there is at least laughing at her. That's a good thing. All of these talking points deserve to be laughed at. Laughed out of the room, actually. From what I understand, she got absolutely destroyed in this debate. I don't have the whole thing, and it would be more so appropriate to go over the entire thing in a live stream, but this is the cringy ass shit that comes from these radical far leftists. And I want to put a focus on that. It's not people that are center left or even maybe just left. It's these radical far leftists that are pushing all this crazy shit, and they're getting in power everywhere. Just the fact this is even taken as a serious debate is a joke. Like, it's a joke that this is even allowed to be discussed.
I said that just a little bit earlier, didn't I? How is it that this type of insanity actually has an audience? Right? You and I kind of think that way. We say that's insane. It's crazy. How can that possibly be? They don't think that way, gentlemen. Let me explain that to you. The few ladies that are in the chat right now that are actually trying to find a resolution to the problem, or at least not be fucking murdered by the problem, because they will be coming for you. I promise you that. As a certain set of chromosomes that you own, they will be coming for you. If you do not toe the fucking line, you'll be the first one on the burn pile. You better believe that. These folks have, through 40, 50, 60 years of intense indoctrination, legal reform, have pushed this kind of nonsense to the forefront. You feel me? Frantic Missy, oh God, I hope she washes the smell of cat piss off of her. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You know that this bitch is loaded with some cats when she gets home. Can you imagine the kind of man that would be rooting around in that smelly fucking bag of mayo?
This is sick and disgusting. Like, how is this even allowed? This person shouldn't even be brought up to stage, because all of this is a joke. Just like how this show from Showtime is a joke. Everything.
Have you seen this? Have you seen this one yet? Look, there's a lot of folks out here that are going to say, and they're going to think to themselves, and some of you are in this chat right now, what does this have to do with MGTOW? I mean, what is this? MGTOW is not one-dimensional. MGTOW does not exist in a vacuum. Men going their own way does not mean men walking away from everything, everywhere. Now, it may mean that to some people. It doesn't mean that to me. It never has. Once your eyes are open, you can't unsee it. So then for me, now I'm just saying me, just my opinion, you have a duty, you have an honest to God duty to call out this bullshit where you see it. That, to me, is what MGTOW is about. I don't want to live on a planet with a species that is this fucked up. So as it was always going to be, it's going to be our job, our duty to fucking fix it one mo again. Now, I'm not saying that you should feel that way. You shouldn't feel that way. I feel that way, but I can't obligate anybody else to go out there and feel that way. There's very little that I can do outside of defending my life during a home invasion. You see what I'm saying? Without getting put in fucking prison. So I can do this. And that's why I do this. Now let's check out the newest dig, the newest jab at white folk, at Europeans. Let's check that one out. And you'll recognize some of the faces. Amanda Seales is one of them. World-renowned B-dub racist. I see Sifu Black Irish in the house. What's up, Sifu? How you doing, brother? Good to see you.
Things gonna be all white for 2022. I don't know when this comes out. They actually think this is going to get people to subscribe to their service. If anything, it's going to make me personally boycott their service. It's this whole show pretty much saying if this is your identity, you're a piece of shit. That's basically the show. And hilariously, it's getting extremely downvoted, 58,000 downvotes. And they turned the comments off. Probably because everybody was mocking the ridiculousness of this show. How is this shit still coming out? What a joke. So it's funny, they had to turn the comments off because nobody had anything nice to say about this trash show. Anyway, what a world.
You ain't shitting, homeboy. What a world we live in, where the alternative to this perceived racism is more an intense racism, right? Because that's going to fix it. That's going to solve all your fucking problems right there. Well, we don't like what's going on with us. We don't like historical injustices. So, fuck it. Let's just enslave them all. Let's just show everybody what time it is. Let's instigate a race war. That's what they're saying. That's what they want to do. They're pushing you to the point where it's going to happen. And then what? Then what happens? Then it's a world of shit. Then it's fucking Durban, South Africa. Yeah.
What a world. If you eat meat, you are now part of the hetero patriarchal society or something.
You know what I see in a lot of this, and I'm sorry to jump in here again, what I see in a lot of this is just outright jealousy. You see, folks that are jealous, that have no power, can't do anything about their jealousy. They can't do anything about their feelings of inadequacy. They can't do anything about not measuring up to the better examples of humans that are out there. Instead of them maximizing what they have and doing the most with what they've got, they have to tear down everybody else that they know is better than them. Make no mistake about it. There are good people and bad people. There are great people and there are really good people. The really good people, unless they work on shit a lot, ain't going to get to the level of great. They just won't. And like all things, that is totally subjective. So how do you, as a low-down, skanky piece of turtle dick shit, how do you tear other people down? You go into the legal system. You embrace something like Marxism that says everybody's got everything and blah, 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 blah. That's what you do. And that way, the tyranny of the weak can oppress everyone else, especially when it's legally institutionalized.
And Showtime just loves shitting out money on stupid projects. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Also, if you would, please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that.
Cool. We're going to get out of that one real quick. And I'm going to go to another one. And bear with me while I'm skipping through parts of this. Some of this, there's a lot of dead stuff in here. And I'm just going to skip through to it.
Clear they have a preference and an end game.
Now, what this is about are all of these crazy whack motherfuckers that are all over social media talking about how if you're not a fan of Transformers, you just might be a Transformer phobe. You just might be a bigot. Preferences? What the fuck is a... No, you can't... No. You must date us.
If you need a good example, just look at all the cis relationships. There are quite a lot of them after all. And what is the main motivation to quite a lot of them? Wanting to settle down and have children. Something which, while still possible through adoption, isn't really possible for a trans woman to carry. B-section is not a thing here, you know.
We all have our implicit biases built into our preferences, and gender...
This piece of shit is Riley Reid. This motherfucker was like a rash on the internet a couple of years ago. Riley Dennis, excuse me. I often get garbage confused. This is Riley Dennis. Riley Reid is an actual female that's a piece of dog shit. So, yeah. Riley is going to sit here and tell you you know, if you wouldn't date this dude that feels like he's a she, and because he's got his penis, maybe you're just a bigot, you fascist.
Gender isn't as simple as just the genitals you have. But after I say that, I usually get a bunch of blatantly cis-sexist responses.
Okay, a cis anything, CIS, is this word that they use to separate themselves from us. There's no such thing as a cis anything. There are normal people, and then there are all of the divergent people. And there's a bunch of them. I'm not a cis anything. I'm a normal man. Well, reasonably normal. Depends on who you ask. We skip to the other sections on this where Mr. Dennis is talking shit. And yeah. Are you a homophobe, you motherfucker? You might
Seems
be.
like an over-analysis because a group is not getting as much booty as the other group.
And he's not wrong. The speaker here in this original video is not wrong about that. Like I said about these fuckers that are running around with these feelings of insecurity that they don't measure up, that they can't kind of compete with the very best that the human species has to offer. It is the same thing with the transformer. It's the same thing. They've gone to incredible lengths to make themselves appealing to men because that's what they want as men. Riley Dennis has a dang-a-ling. Riley Dennis has a twig and berries. And Riley Dennis wants your twig and berries. And if you don't want to get down, you're a bigot. And the ironic part, really, is that this fella ended up going out with this girl. It was bizarre. I don't know where they're at now. Don't really care.
I thought I'd address all of those responses at once.
Yay.
Number one, you're being homophobic. In this argument, I often get accused of homophobia, lesbophobia, or lesbian erasure by lesbians who believe that I'm trying to change.
Can any of y'all keep up with that shit? That's why it's just easier for me to do this. Dust my fucking hands off and wash myself clean of all of these psychos. These people are psychopaths. You fucking bigot.
Their sexual orientation or identity.
To an extent, those lesbians would have a point. You conflate, you confuse, you
Yeah, let's go to the next little bit here, and yeah.
Conversion therapy.
When I first found your channel and heard you say you were a trans woman lesbian, I actually thought, I've heard that before. Back in the 90s, as a pickup line for other girls that other teenage boys thought that other girls would like to hear. Oh look, I'm a lesbian too. I'll turn you straight. That is what I first thought of you. A pretender. And you continue to prove it.
Those responses are rooted in cis-sexism. This is because I'm
There's no such thing as cis-sexism. As a matter of fact, any ism or phobe can be directly tracked back to, well, you just didn't listen to me, or you disregarded me, or you don't like me, so there's got to be something else wrong. Something's wrong with you, not me. It's the ultimate game of projection. Protection of the projection, baby. How do you do that? You point the finger at everybody else. And these people are no different. They're no different. We'll do a couple more pieces on this one, and then I'll move to the last segment for the day.
not telling lesbians that they can't be lesbians.
Oh, look at that. You found a use for that fancy little label you introduced earlier by taking a direct shot at people you'd want to be your ally. Congratulations.
If you're a woman who only likes women, go ahead, identify as a lesbian. But some women have penises, and if the
You heard that shit? What woman? What woman has a dick? I've never met one. I've never seen one. Now, I've seen men with dicks. Lots of men with dicks. Not up close and personal, of course. Some women, they've got penises. Some women don't have periods. Some birthing persons, this motherfucker needs two behind the
fact that some lesbians might be attracted to those women offends you, it's because you don't think trans women are real women.
I have
'Cause they're not. Let's be honest about it. Oh, by the way, the countdown timer for this channel getting nuked is now on. It's now on. You know why I've had 7, 8, 15 fucking TikToks? That's why. I simply will not budge on the unbudgeable. You just don't change it. Because it ain't there to be changed. There are things that are immutable. They will not be changed no matter how much your fifis are hurt. You crazy, crazy motherfucker.
To ask, because obviously the over-analysis going into this is heavy. Have you been rejected by every other lesbian because you've got a dick? It's blunt, I know. I didn't really want to ask because I'm slightly worried you have a bigger noodle than I do. You certainly have a bigger Adam's apple than I do. That is worrying. But I only ask because you're taking a lot of shots at lesbians. You yourself being a trans lesbian, it makes me wonder if it's because you've been rejected too many times because they've seen your dick and are like, no. Also, I have to ask, say you ask one of these lesbians that has rejected you, is it because of my dick? And you call them cis sexist. And they say, so what? What then? Do you think they're suddenly going to decide to sleep with you? I know it's a weak argument, I know, I don't.
But it's an argument that does work on the weak-minded. You see? And you can see how this pervasive, disgusting shit gets a hold of kids. 8, 9, 10, 12, 14. You can see how this shit would work on an average thinking child. It absolutely would. These people are professional fucking groomers. And they're platformed by scumbags like the Alphabet Corporation, Google, YouTube, Insta, Facebook. They're everywhere. The next major push is kid fucking. That will be the next major push. It's already underway.
Quite understand why you feel the need to go to such lengths to basically crap on your dating demographic, unless of course there are non-binary lesbians, in which case, wow, the world is your Tumblr oyster.
That's because these accusations of homophobia make it sound like I'm trying to convince lesbians to like men, but I'm not. I'm trying to show that preferences for women with vaginas over women with penises.
No, what you're trying to do is convince normal men that you are a female with some other additional part. Because that's what you go after. Regardless of who you're fucking, that's what you want to accept you. And I'm here to tell you, that ain't happening. If a fella, a man, a normal man, looks at you and says, yep, that's something that I'd like to take home to mama, then he's gay. Straight the fuck up, gay. Pardon the pun. Gay. Gay is a $3 bill. And that, friends, is antithetical to life. If that is what we were meant to be, if gender is a construct, the human race would not exist. It wouldn't be here because you'd be out humping sheep. Because you'd be, well, some of them are. Oh, man, that was a bad example. You'd be fucking trees. You're a dendrophiliac.
Might be partially informed by the influence of a cis-sexist society.
Cis-sexist
There's no such a thing. It's just a bunch of fucking gobbledygook. A bunch of claptrap. A cis-sexist nothing. I can't get my way, so you're a cis, and you're a sexist.
society, cis-sexist society, cis-sexist society. Incredibly difficult to say, I promise you. I love that you've gone from blaming lesbians now to feeling sorry for them because it's in fact the rest of the world's fault, the cis-sexist society, as you've called it. It is their fault for conditioning lesbians into only liking other women with vaginas. Lol.
You do not have to like men. You do not have to date men or have sex with men. And if you think that's what I'm arguing, you're simultaneously strawmanning my argument and implying that trans women are men.
I think we can find some reputable citizen to get a bag of lime, a shovel, and 2 32s. I think we could. I do think that we could.
It is now going on, and the left.
Gents, we're going to get to the last one here, which relates to the previous, but I'm going to jump in the chat real quick, and I'm going to read a couple of comments. We'll say, what's up? Angel of Destruction, Canada Sheeple, humping. Yeah, man. Decriminalizing bestiality a few years ago. Cable, did I get that right? Am I being unreasonable? I don't know. I don't know what we were saying here. Joe Mangear, my woman says my meat is sexy. You bigot. You racist. You animal herder. What's wrong with you? Get with the program. Red Raider Rider. These people are so sick and deranged. Well, that's what happens when you platform mental illness, when you give it a voice. When you tell mental illness, here's your microphone, there's your camera, get out there and tell your truth, baby. That's what happens. Mexicola 5000, legalizing pedophilia in a white country would give me all the motivation in my life to do great, great harm on everyone. I agree with you. And I think that there are millions of motherfuckers out there that agree with you. I don't care what comes to pass. If that comes to pass, I will be armed and a-looking. And I promise you that. Don't be surprised to read about this motherfucker in the paper someday. The line is drawn. And on this side, you will not step. Frantic Missy, they do it in Afghanistan. I know. Infinity Serpent. Word salad. Word salad. John Gorska, DEFCON 2 on the retardation scale. I think they're going to step it up a little bit. These motherfuckers are out there. Out there. Cubing speed. Yeah, met a few lesbos and they were abused by men or they were somehow afraid of penis. What they need is therapy to become healthy again. I agree. I agree with you 100%. But who am I to tell them if they don't want to ever touch another dick that they have to? If you don't want to, then don't. It's all good. It's one less man that's going to get ruined by your crazy. I'm good with it. Ipa Minion, did I get that right? Ipa Minion, no self-respecting gay man would bring something like that back home. There's a whole bunch of motherfuckers out there with no self-respect. I promise you that. Mr. Pliskin, call me Snake. Professional tossers. Yes, yes. Singletown Bachelor. Wordplay is Marxist. Retarded dwarf. What the fuck is cis? It's what they call normal people. You don't hear them often refer to normal women as cis, but you do always hear them refer to men of any stripe as cis, unless that guy is a flamer. Gay as a blade. Gay as a $3 bill. They will refer to any man as cis because you have been marked. You are the bad guy. You see where that's heading, right? I mean, I see where it's heading. You must see where it's heading. Joe Mangear, does that trans want men to open the wallet? New competition. Yes, they do. As a matter of fact, there is a shitload of them on YouTube right now that give 10 good reasons why getting a transformer is so much better than a real woman. How could you make the distinction? I thought you were real women. Crazy motherfuckers. In the same sentence, they'll say something like that. Easter Sunday gray man, this thing is wasting perfectly good oxygen. Yes, yes. Diego Brando went out on a date, had a good one, got a girl to buy my food and drinks, laughing my ass off. Better watch out. That's called economic abuse, sir. And that is now actionable. I'm not kidding. That's why I just stay away from them until they get themselves sorted out, until the law gets sorted out. You can color me gone. See ya. Nate Dogg, tell him what it is, Frosk. Tell him, Frosk. Peace. Nate Dogg, notice it is one step at a time. One step at a time, and a time immorality constantly wearing us down. Yeah, they are. They are. Frantic Missy, I got rid of television to avoid this crap. I haven't been watching television except for racing for, God, 20 years. Been at least 20 years. I will occasionally grab the occasional television series somewhere, like I'll get it on DVD, and I'll obviously I'll bring it home and I'll watch it. And yeah, you can see the subversion in shit like that. Now, there's a lot of good stories out there, but they were still working it in little bit at a time. You know, little Kira Nerys in Deep Space Nine kicking the shit out of 400-pound Cardassian men all by herself with no backup. Yeah, I'm buying it. Alien Rockin' Head. Wow. Daniel Plainview, extremely disturbing. It is fucking disturbing. It is disturbing. Success Pool Endeavors, they will jab themselves out of existence, hopefully. if there's any justice to the world, hopefully. Fangroth, there's trans beaten female sports records. Now they want to date lesbians as well. Chameleons. It's the chameleon, right? It's the double C. It's the chameleon. They're crazy. They're fucking insane. And this is stuff that is in your kids' schools right now. If you don't know about it, it's because you're choosing not to know about it. Your kids know about it. They've seen it. They've been exposed to it. I guarantee you they know at least one classmate that says that they're a fucking furry, or it's a little boy saying he's a little girl. You hardly ever see the opposite of that. A little girl saying that they're a little boy. That hardly ever happens. This is absolutely directed at your little boys. The men of the future, they won't even make it to that fucking point. They won't get the chance to become men. Let's watch this one. This is the Lotus Eaters with Sargon of Akkad, Carl, Benjamin, and Callum. And we might not do the whole thing, but yeah, if you want to stick around for a little bit and chill. 437 sets of eyeballs in here right now. I can't believe that. It's unreal, unbelievable. And barely 50 minutes in. Thank you very much, all of you, for coming on in. And we've got some more crazy crap to listen to, so let's listen to this bullshit.
Have conceived that the Tufts have won.
Oh, excellent. That's another British victory.
Okay, and we will say ahead of time, a TERF is an acronym, Trans Exclusionary Radical Feminist, right? A TERF. That's what people are being labeled now. That's what a woman would be labeled now if she said that she enjoyed being a woman. Oh, you're a TERF. You're a fucking radical. And this is hot and heavy over in England right now. In the British Isles. Hot and heavy.
Yeah, we had this debate before who's going to win, and I reckon as people who are on either of those camps, maybe you could still fight on. But the leftist approach is that the Tufts have definitely won, at least in Britain. It is the
I
last
love it.
holdout.
The 21st millennium's version of the Battle of Britain is do women exist?
Occupied Europe has totally been taken over by the racial pride flag.
Yeah.
But this island, TERF Island, as it is called, is fighting on. And that's the left's opinion. So that's I'll demonstrate why. So we'll give this first one here so you can see GB News reporting on some news about Adele.
Yeah.
So after winning the first Gender Neutral Artist of the Year award.
You heard that, right? Gender neutral artist of the year, right? So they're eliminating male categories. They're eliminating female categories. So if you run up there and you say, you're so proud to be a man or you're so proud to be a woman, you're going to get the official fucking clubbing from the state. Oh man, it's just fucking ridiculous.
Oh, just kill me now.
Why?
Stupid. Adele said, quote, "I understand why the name of this award has changed, but I really love being a woman.
Oh, well, that's the speech of an oppressed person.
Too bad, Adele. If you want to be a woman, not on my
We're
watch.
gender abolitionists around here, Adele.
I'm not just saying that. Not on my watch was definitely a response of quite a few leftists.
Oh, was it?
Very pissed off to her saying, I love being a woman. No, we don't do that here.
Did you hear that? It started a firestorm on that dump site called Twitter. A firestorm of controversy. It's actually controversial for a woman to say, I love being a woman. And yet millions of these dumb motherfuckers still stand up and vote in their own demise. They vote in their own oppression. Well, how are women oppressed, Hammer? That's bullshit, man. They control it. No, they don't. No, they don't. They don't control everything. As I've told you many times, they are the spear point that's being used at you. It's being aimed at you. The normal man. The every guy. They've got their own fucking shit to deal with, and there's no joke about that. Why do you think over 35% of them are on fucking head meds and antidepressants? You can't try to be a man. You either are or are not. Big ups to them wrenches handling that chat. Thank you very much.
We don't
I
enjoy.
love the way that metaphorically this is literally Adele firing cannons across the channel, right?
I love being a woman. Bigot.
Boo.
So we go to the next one. We can see some of those boos in real time. So as Andy noticed here, a lot of radical leftists are angry
Right.
that she said being a woman's pretty cool. So you can see someone here saying with
What?
a quote, and then so I really love being a woman, and then someone else being like, please no, Adele can't be a TERF. That last comment, though ambiguous, could be perceived as turfy. Please no.
You're not allowed to enjoy being female and a woman now.
Yes.
Wow.
Being a woman is not allowed.
And I get told that I'm the misogynist.
There's also the funny thing about, Caitlyn Jenner says,
Oh,
I
yeah.
love being a woman. Stunning and brave. Fantastic. Adele says it. Turf bigot.
The enemy.
A woman says it. Another type of woman says it. And no, two different responses, which is why they're both
Very
women.
interesting.
Indis-
Yeah. That's exactly right.
Indistinguishable.
Yeah.
Which is why we know how to distinguish our response.
Excellent.
So if we move on from this, we can also go see that we are all TERFs now, boys, in
Thank
this
God
island.
for pink news.
Yeah. So as you can see, Council of Europe compares the UK to Russia and Poland over very
you just can't believe that this shit is actually out there, and that there are not just 1 or 100 or 100,000, but there's like 1 million fucking people that think this way. Like I said before, like I said a little bit earlier, this is not the end result, but close to the end result of decades, 6, 7, 8 decades of intense brainwashing and indoctrination. And you thought that it wasn't you, right? But it is.
virulent attacks on LGBT rights.
The Allies, as we like to refer to them,
Dobre tak.
against the axis of evil.
Yeah, so the
I mean, it literally is.
the Council of Europe, the
It literally is.
Europakt, the Reichspakt und die Kontinent.
It's another pact against the Germans and German-occupied France.
We denounce the British and all they do, says the Council of Europe. No. So the Council of Europe compares us to Poland, evil Poland, and the Russians who were fighting on the Eastern Front against this as well. The memes are real.
History doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. You know?
I wish I brought my Polish armband for resistance. So, got it.
It's just unfucking believable. Unbelievable. Before we get back into this, I'm going to jump up in the chat a little bit and say, what's up to all of you? Crypto Werewolf, this is like a skit from Monty Python. You're not shitting. You're not shitting. If you didn't know for a fact that this was real and that mainstream news, quote unquote, was producing this fucking bile, this trash, you would swear to God it was a skit. You'd swear on a Bible that it was a skit. Daryl Dundee, oh God. Timothy Sokol, I say let it burn. Baby, it's burning. It's burning right now. Dan Day, can Russia just steamroll through Europe? I don't think they would want Europe. They might want their business, but I don't think that they want Europe because it's a fucking wasteland. It really is, gang. If you look at it, It's a wasteland. That's why the concentration is so heavy and so hard here in the United States, because all of this shit filters down through the West with the U.S. as the point of origin. You see, they've got the crazy motherfuckers over there that are going above and beyond in England, Australia, and Canada, but all of that comes from here. It comes from here. Frantic Missy, it's not about being gay or whatever else the alphabet people call themselves. It's about control. Well, I can agree with that somewhat, but not entirely. It is about pushing an agenda. It is that if these people, as fucking crazy as they are, they feel that they're absolutely correct, that their state of being is the natural state of being, which is clearly false. Okay? People aren't hatched. They didn't spring up out of the fucking ground like a spud or a carrot. Boy human, girl human, get together, smash uglies, baby human is born. That is the natural state of life. So girl on girl, man on man is incorrect. Now, am I going to tell you that you're less than? Well, maybe a little bit. But I'm not going to demonize you or try to steal your humanity away from you like they try to do to us just for being normal. Fuck them. Not literally. Don't touch them. Neo Spirit, I see this on a video. I see this or seen this on a video. Women doesn't need to be understood. They need to be loved. So maybe they just retarded and they just seek some attention. Well, they clearly seek attention. They clearly seek attention. Go to TikTok. Go to Instagram. You can still get away with it somewhat on Facebook. Nude fucking yoga on YouTube. Sitting on dildos inside of a camera on YouTube. Demonstrating all kinds of sexual object and phallic on YouTube. But if a guy comes on and says, here's my brand new sex doll, fuck that guy, ban him. It's misogyny. Yeah, there's problems. Lots of problems. Shinobi Wan, they wear masks and have the fear, yet they stick the D in their mouth. They do nasty, dirty kinks, yet they're scared of the motherfucking flu. Yeah. That's because they're busted. They're completely indoctrinated. Completely indoctrinated. I saw somebody, I've said this before, I saw somebody a while ago say, Gen Z is coming hard with the conservatism. You are out of your fucking mind. Gen Z is a continuation of millennials, and they're worse. A lot worse. They're not based. They're not. They're outer fucking limits. We're supposed to all be human beings and we can relate to one another. You can't relate to them. Too bad, I suppose. The Greenish Knight, Sargon, had his high point with the Symposium channel. Otherwise, he's a tradcock who... He's a tradcock who will love to see men getting used. Well, he believes in traditionalism, but all of these tradcons that talk about traditionalism and how they would endorse traditionalism, you know, what is the one thing that they leave out? They leave out the legal indemnity that comes with traditionalism. If it was traditionalism with no legal penalty, I would be all for it. Go ahead, go do your fucking thing. It's good, because when she decides to leave or you decide to leave, somebody's not going to lose half their ass and all of their kids. Traditionalism is going to mandate, it's going to dictate that those kids go with the father unless he is unsuitable or he's in a career where he can't. It takes care of itself. And if you've got the best interest of the kids at heart, you know that that's going to happen anyways. But nobody cares about kids in their best interest now. They care about what kind of a paycheck those fucking bioforms can bring to them. Indy MGTOW, yeah, hard to believe it's out there at this magnitude. It is. It's insane. It's insane. Victor von Frankenstein, what is best in life? You can answer that if you put it in the chat. Cuba, cubing speed. TFM knows what you're saying. Hammer, I know he does. I know he does. TFM has been deplatformed everywhere he goes. Everywhere. Timothy Sokol, let the lemmings run to the cliff. Just sit and watch. Yeah.
Beautiful. So parliamentarians said that as much as Europe has made progress in LGBT plus rights,
As much as the Wehrmacht has made progress into Russia.
as much as we have pushed into the Lebensraum, hate speech and hate crime have surged.
How is that possible? Right? It's not possible. Hate speech and hate crimes have surged, but you've got more rights than you've ever had in your you've got more goddamn rights than normal people have. Every class of person, save for white men and some black men, is a protected class. There is an order to that. There's a totem, and we on the bottom. Gents, we on the bottom. Oh, shit. Just fuck that up.
Just the idea that, okay, everyone.
I'll tell you what, we'll go past this and we'll get to this broad right here.
Oh, good. I'm looking forward to hearing him explain to me what children's rights are when it comes to LGBTI equality.
Yeah, there's also the women's rights. What's a woman?
Yeah.
Still haven't solved that one, have we?
Yeah, that's literally the hill the TERFs are dying on right now.
Yeah, anyway. But the reason I mentioned TERF Island, so I mean, we have been referred to in this way by the Council of Europe, who are very mad that we continue our war against the continent. And you can see a response here from some LBC host who kind of lost her S in response to this.
The London colony, yeah.
The London colony was very offended. They were like, we stand with our leaders in Berlin.
Yeah.
And so she decided to do this little sermon about how bad the UK was. I thought we'd go through some of it because it was beautiful.
Go on then.
And let's play the first clip where she was saying that we were promised alphabet rule and it hasn't happened.
In Hungary, for example, homosexuality is still illegal. However,
that's a lie. That is not true. So these people, the LBC, right? This is a very big radio network, YouTube network in the UK. Outright fabrications and fucking lies based on feelings.
What this report noted is that the UK is moving backwards in terms of LGBTQ equality.
Who issued the report? Who wrote the report? Who put the recommendations out? The people that self-serve. The people that want to see it your way. There's nothing objective about the report. Nothing. It's confirmation bias in the strongest sense.
Quality. And I watched a really interesting discussion earlier today with Ben Hunt, who you will remember was interviewed on this show yesterday. And he appeared on Owen Jones's podcast today. And he described being at a garden party at Number 10 during Theresa May's premiership with a number of other LGBTQ campaigners and key figures and charities celebrating what he described as this dossier of promises on LGBTQ rights that Theresa May's government was set to implement.
Theresa May ain't there anymore, is she? And you know why she's not there? She got threw over in the fucking heat of battle. And unfortunately, they put Boris in there. Boris is only now just kind of waking up and smelling the fucking roses and having his morning coffee. And he'd be like, oh man, maybe we should reverse all of these mandates, eh? No, he's not supposed to be Canadian. It just came out that way.
And since then, those promises have been reneged on by Johnson's cabinet.
How could they do this?
They've done nothing about the Jews. They promised us that they were going to get rid of all those Jews, and nothing has been done.
There's also, I'm starting to feel more and more, I'm glad that we're in Swindon because I can feel the distance here between the high city of London. She's like, yeah, do you remember Ben Hunt? Do you remember us talking about him? Do you recall
the name rings a bell.
Yeah, so he used to be the BBC's LGBT alphabet correspondent, and then works for Vice, making smears against Kerry Baden.
Now that tells you all that you need to know. Works for Vice, or Vox, or Mike, or BuzzFeed, or Slash, any of these fucking crackerjack outfits that spring up over fucking night that are funded by whom? Comcast, Adelphia, NBC, Disney, ABC, who's a subsidiary of Disney now. So whenever you see these piece of shit rags, go look into who funds them. and you will see clearly where the agenda is coming from. It is coming from corporate and banking America. And it has the blessing of all of the motherfuckers that corporate and banking America pay. Music, entertainment, actors, singers, artists. Anybody's pocket that they can get into will toe the line.
Right.
And he was hanging out with Owen Jones, and then
But,
she's talking
yeah,
to
but
him about...
exactly. I was listening to Owen Jones' podcast, says the LBC host. Why would you be doing that if you're not a radical leftist? And they were talking about the high society they were faluting in. It's like, yeah, I'm feeling like I'm a million miles away from you people. Thank God.
Like, you really are at the high point of the,
Yeah.
the hive city that is London and your little towers.
Yeah.
Like, so we were all having a discussion.
The Reich is occupying Paris, and we were there at Versailles. And, you know, like...
There's also the lie she starts off with there, saying it's illegal to be gay in Hungary. My understanding is it's not.
Right.
It's just an up and lie. There's a really funny aspect to that as well. Do you remember there was you know Orban?
Mm-hmm.
There's a member of his party who became an MEP and was campaigning, doing all this stuff as a conservative.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was caught in a gay orgy above a nightclub at
Very
3 in the morning.
conservative, yeah.
And he snuck out and he was just like, I was just listening to the music.
It reminds you of the Florida guy that was trying to run against DeSantis here not too long ago, right? Old boy was caught passed out with his gay lover in the bed and drugs everywhere. Yeah, he could have been set up, but he didn't deny it.
Music. There were a lot of leftists who were like, ha, look, conservative does gay orgy. Isn't this hypocritical? It was like, no. Well, he's doing it behind closed doors. That's the
literally
complaint.
don't care. Yeah.
It's like, no, I keep my gay orgies in my room instead of on the streets.
Yeah,
Very
thank God.
difficult for you to understand. But anyway, so
Fortis King, yes, Red Ice Radio is still on the air. You can catch them on BitChute and you can catch them on Odyssey.
Very conservative.
there's also that lie there. But then she moves on to the fact that she is very disappointed. And as I say, she thinks that the right just keeps winning, just keeps on winning. Let's play.
While she held her role, Liz Truss was described by members of her own department as the Minister for Inequalities.
Based.
In March of last year, 3 key advisors to her and Kemi Badenoch resigned from the department, and they cited a hostile environment for LGBTQ people as their reason for
Ronald
doing
retreating
so.
west.
And then last week, it emerged that employees of the EHRC have voiced similar concerns. The Equalities and Human Rights Commission, a body that was set up specifically to advocate for equality and human rights, as their name would suggest. Former and current members of staff went to Vice magazine and anonymously reported concerns that there was a similar anti-LGBTQ culture there.
Do you know what that means when they say that former and current members went to X, Y, and Z to report whatever? That means that they are using their position to leverage fear. They're using their position to leverage change or to wedge in devices that they don't want taken back out. Plain and simple. That's what that means. It means that when you have this kind of shit, this psychopathic theocracy almost that is going on with the alphabet soup group, with all of the alphabet mainstream media, the way that they leverage what they are, especially now in the eyes of the law. Why do you think that this was legally institutionalized as quickly as it was? This didn't come in over 100 years. This shit came in over the last 20 years, 15 years. Do you know how long it takes to pass laws? Do you know how long it takes to get laws removed from the books, for fuck's sakes? I mean, every state pretty much still has a no spitting on the sidewalk law. A law. Spit on the sidewalk, go to jail. Things that are completely outdated, that mean nothing to nobody, that are not observed, but they keep them there. And they keep them there just in case they run across you. Just in case.
American tanks rolling through Paris.
Yes.
All of our expansion is being rolled back.
But I love it. It's just like we lost here, then we lost that. We lost on Liz Truss because Minister of Inequality. We lost trying to convert Kemi Badenoch to leftism because she's not a leftist. I told you to get lost. I love Kemi.
Yeah.
And then just we also lost on the Equality and Human Rights Commission. I don't know if we have that. I can't remember if I added it, but it's just them going to Vice and a bunch of text messages the Vice journo got. He put an article. And it's just like, I'm very upset.
Good.
It's like,
Good.
you should be.
Yeah.
Moving on. So we'll go to the next one. next clip, which is that she complains that we are TERF Island for essentially being anti-rape. Let's play.
Now, of course, on the surface of it, this is all about the so-called trans debate. And did you know that outside the UK, we are known as the transphobia capital of the world?
And that's what they tell people who they want to bludgeon and put them in a particular place, a particular spot. Look, you may not want to hear this, but I'm going to tell you anyways. This is the end result of actual true liberalism. This is where actual true liberalism gets you. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. It destroys itself. It takes a couple of 100 years, in this case, a few centuries, but it destroys itself. You can't be liberal enough at some point in time. Wokeism is a direct descendant of liberalism. You can't be woke enough. If you believe in woke ideology, you can't be woke enough. Caviel, pause, champ. Yes. Anytime I feel like I got to jump on in here and say it, I'm going to say it.
We're often referred to as TERF Island. TERF, of course, stands for Trans Exclusionary Radical Feminist, because we lead the charge globally on demonizing and misrepresenting trans
We're
people.
always at the forefront. First
That's
in,
not a
last
record we
out.
can be proud of, is it? These are what the changes, the proposed changes to the Gender Recognition Act would mean. That it's easier for trans people to be listed as their true gender on their death and marriage certificates.
I want you to look at the comment that I've got up on the screen right now from Zark. Transphobia capital of the world is the Middle East, where they throw them off the fucking roof. But you don't see anybody saying anything about that, do you? Do you know why? Because they don't have people in positions of power to advocate against it. They can sit over here and say, well, that's kind of bad, but we can't do nothing about those motherfuckers. They're a small price to pay. It's a small price to pay. We're just going to have to let that shit happen. But we can focus on the areas over here where we know we can crush motherfuckers. And they're not shy about doing it. They have no problem taking you to fucking task, putting you in jail, costing you everything, sending mobs of people to descend on you, getting you fired, starving you out, getting your kids beat up or killed. You're going to tell me that that's not political intimidation, political murder, assassination? Of course it is. Of course it is. Your Highness, London is a cesspool. That's why I moved 4 years ago. I believe that it is. I've seen enough with London and its territories, its cities, its provinces to understand that it's pretty fucked up over there.
This was turned in the media into a debate about women's spaces. The Gender Recognition Act had nothing to do with women's spaces. We've started to see all of these apparently women's rights organizations.
You understand the disingenuous nature of what she just said, right? It had nothing to do with women's spaces until you let maniacal, psychopathic people who are men that think that they're women into spaces where women are and where they congregate. Then they start getting raped. Then they start getting killed and molested and abducted. I'm not the biggest fucking fan of that set of chromosomes, as any of you will attest to. But I also don't overlook lies and fuckery to suit myself or what it is that I'm pushing here, which is equality. Leave us the fuck alone. I'm pushing that too. But of course they won't.
Popping up all over the place,
What is
which
a woman?
strangely never talk about women's rights in any other context than where there is this kind of false tension between cisgender women's rights and transgender rights. That's the only time they want to talk about women's rights. They don't talk about women's safety in any other context other than when it's an opportunity to bash trans people.
Oh, sorry, Sarah Everard. Do we ever talk about that? Does that ever come up? Oh, what absolute tosh that is.
Yeah. There's also just we are Turf Island for not wanting biological men in women's prisons.
Yes.
That's what you're getting at. The women's spaces.
Yes.
And we'll mention it again because I've mentioned, what was it, Karen White a million times, but it's not only her. There are a whole bunch. There are the turf accounts that I follow that keep making like compilations of faces at this point, like the grooming gangs.
It's like the grooming gangs.
Yeah. Because
And if you don't know what they're talking about there, all I have to say to you is look up grooming gangs. It's been going on for a long fucking time, but it received a lot of attention and notoriety starting about 2016, coincidentally, right, with the installation of Trump, because he brought attention to it. Telford, Luton, Lower London, and there's a few more out there. Roving gangs. Of course, they call them roving gangs of Asians, Asian identifying, when it's not. It's Pakistani men, Afghanistan men, and men that has snuck in 2015, a fucking ton of them, when Germany opened up their border and said, yeah, motherfuckers, come on. And they let that invasion of millions of men, almost exclusively, come in from sub-Saharan Africa and other regions.
there's a funny thing for people who don't know. You can't say certain things about the members of the grooming gangs, as in the common factors. So instead, people just put their faces together and let you figure that one out. And the same thing's now taking place with female rapists.
Basically a quick physiognomy check.
Yeah, you can look at the female rapist faces and determine how female they are. And as you can see here, the Sunday Times released showing despite making up only less than 1% of the population, they are 5% of all the sexual assaults within female prisons. Yeah, moving on. So let's go to the next one, because as she's hit on there, the women's rights debate, as she puts it. Well, this is the chink in the left's armor, and this was such a good ground for the right to fight them on, and have won, in her opinion.
Excellent.
Lovely to hear, so let's hear it.
What I will say to you is bigotry doesn't and won't stop with the 1%.
Good.
This moral
keep doing
panic that has been whipped up around trans people is a chink in the armor of human rights.
Oh,
And people will
Invading
use that
Greece.
chink to take away all kinds of hard-won rights for other minorities and oppressed people too.
we invaded through Belgium fair and square.
So I wish it had surprised me yesterday when I saw a headline in the Daily Mail which read thusly: Has Cambridge University broken out of its woke straitjacket? College refuses to fly divisive pride flag because only its own banner unites the whole community.
Congratulations to Cambridge University. That takes a little bit of intestinal fortitude to say no, to not fly your divisive flag at the top of that flagpole, that mast. No. Congratulations. I'm just wondering how long it's going to take them to bend the fucking knee and run that bitch up the pole.
Oh, finally.
I'm enormously troubled by that.
Yes!
I was just so downtrodden. And it's so like, I can't believe they've done this.
This is literally Hitler in the bunker getting with lost Belgium. You know?
Fegelein! Der Krieg ist verloren. But also,
It's just great.
the LGBT, the T part of the leftist ideology on gender and whatnot, that is the soft underbelly of leftism.
This is
Trini MGTOW in the chat says, diversity ain't a good thing. Diversity is not a good thing. Diversity is not our strength. Inclusion is not our strength. Homogeneity is. Family units are. Whether you're white, black, man, woman, being around your folk, your kin, your kith is not evil. The unfortunate part about diversity is that a lot of motherfuckers die to make diversity happen. A lot of them die. A lot of us die. I appreciate the fact that people have their own cultures. I appreciate the fact that blacks have theirs, whites have theirs, Europeans of whatever stripe have theirs, Asians have theirs. I appreciate that, but it doesn't mean that I have to sit there and immerse myself in it, or that I have to like it, or that I have to deny my own culture and heritage just fucking because. The powers that be understand that this is a culture breaker. That if they can break down your culture, break down your family units, inject massive populations of fucked up men into populations of women that don't want their native men, that they will breed you out. And it doesn't matter where you're from because it's going on everywhere. Everywhere. Is that a fear, Hammer? Is that a fear? Are you afraid of dying out, white boy? No, we all die. Everything changes. If it was organic and natural, I wouldn't have a word to say about it. You would never hear me speak about it. But the way that people are being bludgeoned, the way that it's being pushed on you in artificial ways, that's what bothers me. That's what gets my fucking dander up. That people don't consider how they're throwing their lives away, that they're cashing in the chips on their heritage. That bugs the shit out of me. One more reason why I talk.
The overextension, though, isn't it?
Yes, and it has been the point in which the right has been able to just smash through because you're talking bollocks. You have nothing to stand on in this regard, and it is evidence. And as we can see by this example that she gives, which is like, well, why can't we just have the racial pride flag flying instead of the British one?
Because it doesn't unite everyone in the college, unlike the college flag, like you just explained.
Dum. This is the story, as she mentions, from the Mail, saying, you know, oh my God, how dare they not fly the racial pride flag. If we can scroll down, John, just so people can see, that is what I'm talking about, which is the one with the pincer movement inside the flag. So keep going until you find the flag, please. As you can see there, which segregates black and brown people.
I mean, it literally looks like an invasion in the gay space.
I know I mention it every time, but we're going to be less divisive by segregating the black and browns. You tried.
But also the trans.
Yeah, but also it's the flag of a ideology, and it's flown over conquered territory.
It's literally a Nazi flag.
Yeah.
That's what a Nazi flag is. It's the flag of a goddamn ideology.
And then we go to the last clip here when she complains, no. The racial pride flag is just about inclusion, my friends. Let's play.
That's
By the
ideological.
notion that the pride flag is divisive.
How could you
The
think
pride flag is a statement. If you fly the
Yeah, bitch, it's a statement. It's a statement that only people who see it your way count, and everybody else has to take a fucking knee. Everybody else has to bend over. That's why I show these motherfuckers no mercy. I have been in that state of mind for a long, long time now. There will be no quarter given, no mercy whatsoever.
pride flag, what you're saying is LGBTQ people are welcome and safe here. You're not saying straight people aren't welcome. It might say straight people who aren't going to make LGBTQ people feel welcome and safe.
Why am I under any obligation whatsoever to make you as a lick or a fellow cocksmoker feel welcome? Why? I'm under no obligation to make you feel good because of your life choices. That's your problem. You don't need my validation, and you're not going to get it. That's another good thing that I can bring up right now about MGTOW. Morals, ethics, values, and principles. Control your biology. Don't let these motherfuckers get up underneath you. Ever. Don't let them move you off of what you know to be right and also what you know to be wrong. They will sit there and squeal and whine and piss and moan, cry real tears while they're beating you on the fucking head with a sledgehammer. Don't allow that to happen to yourself. Get your morals, your ethics, values, and principles. Understand them. Know what they are. Know what you stand for. And then don't stand for any fucking thing other than that. Let it all go. And anybody that wants to get on a little lazy river, Mr. and Mrs. Free Spirit, fuck them. Let them go too. That shit can't have a place in your life. It can't have a foothold in your door.
aren't welcome.
Oh, so we have got
But
some.
that's a necessary statement to make.
It's just a.
Oh my God!
It's a swastika. It's just a symbol of German pride.
We're not saying Jewish people aren't welcome. We're just saying Jewish people who object to Germanism aren't welcome.
it's just evident.
But
This is just ideology.
The fact that it's inclusive. Except for those people.
Yes.
You know, we've literally marked out a group of people who are not involved in inclusivity and who aren't welcome, and that's a necessary thing
They're part of
to
the
maintain the purity of the Reich.
They're part of the exclusivity of our inclusive movement.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
The Reich is impure if those people are allowed to exist.
Yeah.
So it's incredible.
She then goes on to list some homophobic attacks in Bournemouth and Edinburgh and a murder in Cardiff, and then mentions that's why we need that flag.
Yeah.
Like, that
Jewish
doesn't
crimes, yeah.
make any sense. Again, the point is you can fly the flag of the college because it is of the college, which is
Duh.
where you are, dum-dum. So
The crime's already illegal, so
makes
what's
no
the
sense.
problem?
So, I mean, these are just ideological flags for essentially
Yes.
authoritarian rule.
Well, it's
And-
a stamp of conquest.
Yeah, I thought quickly. I'm just going to mention the secret police aspect of this as well, of course, because you get informants and people who spy.
And this type of shit is on its way over here right now. We've been hearing more and more and more reports of feds, DOA or DEA, fucking local and state police showing up at people's doors over a fucking tweet, a Facebook post. Now, unless that Facebook post says, yeah, I'm going to run up in this school with a bomb and 2 AKs, you shouldn't be investigating fucking Facebook posts.
Each other, such as the police. And I think we just quickly end off with this Fair Cop stuff. So as you can see here, this is a post from Fair Cop a little while back saying in February, LGBT Police UK tweeted, "We see you, we have reported you at Gender Critics." Last week it tweeted, "We stand for Stonewall."
So, I mean, it's literally a Nazi infiltration into the UK police.
But it's the police openly saying, yeah, we are partisan and we stand with the intersectionalists.
Yeah.
Right, you can't do that. That's against the law. So, you ought to know something about that, being the police and all, but apparently not. So if we move on, we can go to the next one. You can see Fair Cop saying, no, yeah, these are secret police because we tried to contact them and ask who the hell runs it, and they told us bugger off.
Really?
Because we're a community support
the
group.
LGBT Gestapo.
We don't have to tell you. So yes, they are a literal secret police, as Fair Cop found out. And then they were able to then start pinning down who work there through their, well, investigations. Doing probably more investigative work than anyone looking into burglary these days.
And don't think for 1 second, folks, that when you watch content like this, or when you make content like this, don't do it ignorantly. You are on a list. You are going to be watched. They are going to track your motions and movements. So make sure that you understand what you're getting yourself into. I ain't trying to scare you. I'm just trying to tell you. If you're standing up for those morals and ethics and values and principles, it can get you into some hot fucking water. I don't mean that you're in trouble. I mean that the mechanism of the state can exercise itself upon you. And don't think that they'll be shy about it, because they will.
And as you can see here, they managed to identify one. As you can see here, this was a chief inspector who, instead of inspecting burglaries, is inspecting your thoughts and is very proud of that fact. And what does he get for it? He gets sued. That's what. So let's go to the next one, in which we can see Fair Cop saying, next week we are in chambers to agree action against LGBT Police UK and those chief constables facilitating the cartel.
Love it.
You may need to schedule some legal time, and then just twags a bunch of people who have pissed them off. So
Excellent.
We'll end it there. I had more stuff, but we don't have time for it. But it's just, we are Turf Island, and we are actually making progress.
Yeah.
And we'll get that one off of there, and we'll be done with that. And I want to thank you very much for hanging out with me on those 3 videos and going through those and kind of step by step picking them apart, or where I had the opportunity to point out what doublespeak is. We did that. Let me jump up in this chat real quick, see what's going on. Maybe we can find a thing or two to talk about. Trini MGTOW, we are all being watched and on a list right now. Seriously, they'll knock on your window. They'll use sonic weapons. I know that. I watched them do it. I've watched them do it. I've watched them do Ruby Ridge. I watched them murder 50 kids at Waco. I watched them kill Lavoy Finnegan in cold blood. I've seen it all. Absolutely. James Von Maxwell is in the house. What's up, Ginger Hamster? MGTOW Cowboy, Illinois ending mask mandate in 17 days. Well, that's something coming from fucking commie Illinois. Good job for all those Illinoisans. I know quite a few folks in Illinois, and I'm happy for them. Hopefully their government has two fucking brain cells to rub together, and they're trying to get out in front of what is inevitable. The coronavirus bullshit has fallen apart. It's over. It's done. It was done 18 months ago. That just shows you how psychopathic a huge part of our population is and how tyrannical most of your government is. Doesn't matter if there's an R or a D or an I by their name. They're all batting for the same fucking team. And you guys need to know that. There was a point in time where I believed that Republicans were a little bit better off. I don't believe that anymore. Not when you watch these supposed firebrands come up in here with their one eye patch and they're going to set the world on fire, and then they vote for firearm restrictions. Fuck that motherfucker. Dan Crenshaw. Thumper at James Vaughn Maxwell. Hey, what's up? Hey, everybody's giving big ups to the hamster. That's outstanding. Love to see it. Lavish Patch Kids, you can still donate blood after getting the vaccine. Just a heads up, it takes 30 seconds to look up. Don't push shit stuff unless you've researched it. Well, they are actually saying here now, Lavish Patch, that they're not taking plasma, isn't it? I don't know about blood, but they can get the plasma and the platelets and separate them, and they're not taking those. So maybe there's some confusion there. It wouldn't surprise me because there has been so much confusion, intentional confusion on the part of our services that don't know jack fucking shit. Frantic Missy, I had my IG hacked. I've had stalkers. I've had death threats. It comes with the territory when you are a person who speaks truth publicly. I agree. Especially if people think that you're supposed to talk a certain way because you look a certain way or you carry yourself in a certain way, and then they can't depend on that. It fucks with their sense of being. Victor von Frankenstein, I no longer worry about creating content. I'm sure we're all on a list somewhere. You ain't wrong. Good to see you back, by the way, Victor. Good to see you back. Lawlin Colt, that's why you never bend the knee to the mental mobs. Just give them the finger. Neo Spirit, it's us that thank you, Hammerhand. Well, I thank you one more again because I have to. It's not because you guys and some gals show up here and make the show possible. It's because you're interested in finding opinions. You see, you may or may not agree with what I say. You may agree with some, disagree with some. That's okay. I'm not your blood enemy at the end of a disagreement, and I'm not your best friend at the end of an agreement. It just is what it is. It's common sense, and there's far too little of that out here in the world today. Tim Adams, massive stream, Hammerhand. Good work. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate that. 1 hour and 35-ish minutes, 442 of you madcaps just sitting here egging this old crazy motherfucker on. You should be ashamed of yourselves. Where's my caretaker at? Where are they? Where'd they go? Where's my oatmeal? Shut up, you old bastard. James Vaughn Maxwell, hey, shouting out a whole bunch of people. I ain't reading all of that shit. Hey, guys, free beers at the hotel tonight. You're in a hotel, James? I think you said that, though. Yeah, you're like on a mission in Chicago, right? In Chicago. For those of you that live there, my apologies, but fuck that place. Been there a few times, not a fan. Not a fan, especially when I had to go down to the naval shipyards to the disposal plant and drop off 48,000 pounds of Tums that were bad. Oh my God, what a trip that was. Jim Silver, they have no constitutional authority to do so. That's right, they don't. But then what do they do? What do they do? They pressure the private sector, and almost all of the private sector is in fucking bed with them or getting money for something. That's how you get friends, whether you want them or not. You cast out a loan, you cast out, well, we'll just give you this, that, and the other, X, Y, and Z. I mean, chances are, wink, wink, we'll never need to call it in. And then when people get in financial trouble, when they get into labor disputes, they end up taking what the government has handed them, and that fucking check always comes due. Always. Kavil, I think I got that right. Thank you, bro. Timothy Sokol, good stream as usual, Hammer. Well, thank you, man. Fortis King, I don't have a window for them to knock on. I've got a couple, but if you're knocking on my window, I'll be knocking back. Victor von Frankenstein, greetings, Lawlin. Successful endeavors. I stand with duality reality in opposing this insanity. I do too. And I hope our brother DR is doing well. I hope that he is. Shout out, duality reality. Compton 2952 at Toxic Man sounds like a solid man to me. Salute. Oh, and we can't forget this one. True son of Aaron, Cliven Bundy. Absolutely. Tried to kill Cliven Bundy. They did kill Lavoy Finicum. If you don't know who Lavoy Finicum is, who Cliven Bundy is, you need to look him up. Real, true, modern-day American heroes. And not for any other reason than standing up for themselves. Lavoy Finicum was ambushed and murdered by federal agents on his property. Chaos for You 728 LGBTQIA 6179Z movement that'll give government more power. Well, hasn't it? Frantic Missy, Hammer, I sent you an email. Did it come under Frantic Missy, or do I need to look out for something else? Holla! Chrome Dome Omega. Ooh, does that mean a hamster stream tonight with beer? I was about to call the hamster before I got on here. And then Ribby hit me up and he's like, yo, man, come on. We might do a stream tonight. And I said, oh, shit. I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. So for those of you that are curious, Ribby the Party Frog is doing a stream tonight. So when you get off of here, make sure that you go over there and plan your evening accordingly. Chaos for You. So tired of these protected groups. You might as well just say everybody. So tired of everybody that's not white and certain blacks. And a few motherfuckers that don't toe the line, because that's pretty much what it is. That's pretty much what it is right now. Don't be surprised if this stream gets ripped the fuck down. Don't be surprised if this channel gets canceled, because that's just the way that they do business. Because, you know, we have lurkers in here, and they will jump over to YouTube, and as hard as they fancy themselves, as entrepreneurial a figure as they claim to be, they will use the power that be to get other people struck. Just is what it is. True son of Aaron on CNN when CNN was just news. That's been a long time ago. Long time ago. It was never really just news. Let's be honest about that. Anything that scumbag Ted Turner opens up is never just what it appears to be, especially when you're married to a collaborator like Jane Fonda and her communist piece of shit father, Henry Fonda. It was never just about the news. It's about influence. That's the way it's always been. Joe Kingley, you've been putting out really good live streams lately. Thank you for the education. You're welcome, but don't rely on me to educate you. Don't. If there's anything that you find interesting in anything that I say, make sure that you look it up, back it up. Back up your sources. Don't use one source. If you look up anything on Google or Wikipedia, find another source to cross-reference it with. The way that information is disseminated today, it's completely and totally corrupt. That's why we don't have journalists in journalism anymore. We have activists. We have reactionaries. There aren't any journalists anymore. Not any that count. Audi Cash Stack UK, Tony Blair tried to outlaw smacking. Smacking? I was one of his cities after BMY, not guilty verdict. I was followed and harassed for 3 years. Tried to outlaw smacking? Did something get messed up there? Because I don't understand what that means. PK Grows, good to see you, Hamster. Polska Bob, Hamster, everybody's shouting out to Hamster. D-Man 50, New York mask mandate expires today. Well, I guess if that bitch replacement governor wants to stay governor, she should probably do something. Fangroth, control your biology and women won't have any power over you. This is absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. When you are dick thinking, you are not in your normal state. You will do horrific, terrible, stupid shit and horrific, terrible, stupid people when you're dick thinking. You would let a pit bull suck your dick if you are dick thinking. Don't put it to the test, motherfuckers. I'm telling you. Roderick Sage, Hammer. They may be dropping restrictions and mandates, but it's just a calm before the storm. We most prepare even better. Most prepare or must prepare? We must settle any debt, lower our expenses, and gather resources. I agree with you. I agree with you. West Agro, Philippines is open. That's cool. I'm not going over there, though. No offense. Nothing personal. My 5, these idiots are so fucked up. Yes. Yes. Compton, 2952. It was over as soon as I witnessed Fraudchi and Burks. Yes. The ones who fell for it. May God have mercy. I will not. I agree with you. 100%. Half of the motherfuckers in Congress and the Senate right now should be marched out front and shot for crimes against humanity. Anthony Fauci should be, that's for sure. Absolutely. Now, disclaimer for clarity and transparency. I am not suggesting that you go murder anyone. You feel me? But you said on your podcast, fuck you, you motherfucker. I didn't tell you to go kill nobody. Shinobi Wan, New Zealand hasn't dropped the ball yet. As soon as they do, we the people will finally be able to take back our lands. Well, it goes all the way back to Christchurch, you racist. You're a racist, homeboy. Accept it. Except I will never rejoin Soylent Society. I wouldn't. Polska Bob, I'm still pissed about Lavoie. Yeah, so am I. What they did to that man was unfucking believable. His YouTube videos are still up. In some of those YouTube videos, he is expressing, I wouldn't say a dire fear, but a concern that he's going to be killed. The U.S. Geological Service, with the help of the federal authorities, murdered that man in cold blood. You don't hear nothing about that shit, though, do you? When it comes across on the news, oh, he drew his weapon. He never drew his weapon. He stumbled, went to regain his balance, and they murdered him. Mike TV Dub, bet you Trudeau is going to resign within next 2 weeks. That would only be good for Canadians, except the downside is that some other piece of shit is going to take his place. It's very, very entrenched in Canada right now. There's no other place in the Western world better off right now than the United States because we have a fighting chance. Big ups, big shouts out to those Canadian truckers and the American truckers that are backing them up. It's been far too long since I said that. An hour and 45 minutes into this, and that's the first time I'm saying it. Shame on me. Congratulations to every Canadian with fucking testicles. And if you happen to be a female out there with ovaries and you're standing with them, good on you. The fight for freedom doesn't know a gender or a sex. David Smith, both sides break bread at the same table, so fuck them. Yes, sir. I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. When your politicians use the public and use public pressure against their fellow politicians, I see it for what it is. It's theater. It's bread and circus. Now, is it real? Yes, it's real. Is there the chance that people can get hurt, assaulted? Yes, because we've seen it happen. We've seen it. Audi Cash Stack or Audi Cash Stack. Clang your silver and gold coins together. It sounds great. It does. But where everybody else is telling you to go out and invest in gold, invest in silver, because the ass is going to fall out of the world because it's circling the drain and you need that, blah, 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 blah. You can only take so much with you. You can't carry bags of gold and silver if you're on the run, if you've got to bug out. If the place where you're making your stand gets overrun, you can only carry so much. So make sure that you do a good job at stocking your bug out bag. And if you have to leave shit behind, make sure it's hidden. Make sure it's in a place where people can't get to it. I know that sounds rather Cro-Magnon. You bury it in the dirt. Well, there have been worse ideas. Just something to think about. Cavill, you have no friends in government. Peter Hitchens. No, you don't. Lawlin Colt, government should be afraid for their people. I don't know, maybe of their people. They're never afraid for you because you aren't people in their eyes. You aren't people in their eyes. You are a product. You are a number. You have a factory receipt that came with you when you popped out. Then your doppelganger was created so that they could imbue you with debt. Success Pool Endeavors. DR is good. He's taking care of business as well as MGTOW. Good on him. Good on him. Chaos for you. Hitler called anything said against him was a conspiracy theory. Well, it could have been. Could have been. There were a lot of conspiracy theories and there were a lot of truths that were dismissed as conspiracy theories. That exists here, right now, today. That's why the state of your information services is so fucked up and chaotic. It's like that to promote confusion. Clarity is not their friend. Not their friend. That is your enemy or their enemy. They don't want that for you. Wicked's Bane, I said, fuck Dan Crenshaw 2 years ago. Everyone called me an asshole. Well, maybe, yeah. I was hearing it pretty early on before he had done anything, like anything. And then as soon as he started endorsing bump stock bans, I was like, well, fuck this motherfucker. Shall not be infringed. That means shall not be infringed. Crenshaw's a douche nozzle, GTA 2, Seafood Black Irish, Democrat or Republican, both sides of the same counterfeit fiat fucking currency coin. Frantic Missy, are you related to Ghislaine Maxwell? I'm assuming she's talking to the ginger hamster here. I don't think that he is. He's too ugly. Too fucking ugly. But that ginger thing he's got going on, it works. It works. Squirrel crates. I bet as soon as they get in the public eye, they're replaced with skin suits. Probably. Zaku the Silver Wolf. The PSYOP is almost over. If you have not been coerced into their game, good on you. Yeah, good on you. Shinobi One. Gun stops governments, not votes. I agree. I agree. I have no confidence in the vote. I haven't decided if I'm going to vote in the midterms. I haven't decided if I'm going to vote for the next presidential election when it comes up. But I will say one thing. I have no confidence in the vote. I have no confidence in the vote. Zero. That it's not being manipulated. Any motherfucker that stands up and says that they think that there's zero manipulation in these votes is an ideologue and a zealot. Ford is king. Northeast and Chicagoland, Illinois is garbage. Garbage. Thumper. Everyone has hamster love, but not like Richard Gere. We like our hamsters externally at James Von Maxwell. I don't think I'd try to wrap the hamster up and stick him up anybody's ass. I like him too much. Bitch. Alien rockin' head. I had the flu for 2 days. No needle for me. Fuck that needle. Brandon Trueblood, Illinois must hire an exorcist to get rid of Beetlejuice. That bitch. Oh my God. Have you seen the before and afters? That's what happens when indoctrination, leftism, lesbianism all get a hold of you at the same time. It does a fucking number on your soul and your oxygenated blood. Damn, she looks bad. Holy fucking shit. Ron Seidel, my neighbor took the jab, even though they know about the side effects, just to save their job. They gave up their freedom for safety, and that jab will probably kill them. It might. I was just reading a story tonight, published on the mainstream. It's crazy enough, it was on mainstream shit. A woman was being excluded from a family wedding, and of course, she wanted to go to the wedding so bad that she took the shot, and 2 days after she took it, she was in the hospital. If you haven't been coerced into taking that needle, good on you. If you have, I'm praying for you. I hope that things don't work out poorly for you. Yeah. Shinobi One, autoimmune disorders are common amongst the vaxxed. I know that they are. Gents, I'm going to go to the bottom here, and I'm going to jump back up just a touch, and I think I'm going to take us to the 2-hour mark, and then jet. Have us a good night, a little good night outie, and you know how it is, man. I just like to read these comments on the way out. Hope that you enjoyed the video tonight, the series of videos that I brought to you, courtesy of their original creators. Fair use, YouTubes, you hear me? Fair use, you pieces of dog shit. Victor von Frankenstein, the government is not your friend, nor are they the people that inhabit its rotting corpse. No, they're not. Mohammed El Said, if guns kill kids, then why support abortion? That's a pretty good one there, Mohammed. Pretty good one. Shinobi One, I wonder when they'll tear down the pyramids because of masculinity. Oh, they won't do that. You know, because that was a bunch of black and browns that built the pyramids. Why would they do that? Now, if it was a whole bunch of whiteys, oh yeah, pyramids are on the list. Scroll crates, Beetlejuice is evidence of my skin suit theory. Fortis King, she is a demon wearing meat suit. Demon wearing a meat suit? Fuck yeah. She's a nasty motherfucker, boy. Just disgusting. Inside and out. I've always been, and this is not me slapping my back or giving myself a high five. I've always been able to deal with people that are unpleasant outwardly. But if you got an unpleasant soul, that's the marker for me. That's where I draw the line. I don't fuck with people that have corrosive souls. You know, if you're just a mean and nasty son of a bitch, even if there's reasoning for it, I'll talk to you about the reasoning. And if you let me in enough, and we see eye to eye, and you still got to be a dirty bastard, that's where I have to call it a day and wish you well. Male superiority 2, dirty diapers will kill you just like guns. Gwilder, I personally think the Chicagoland mayor looks like Groot. I ain't heard nothing about that shit. Zark, democracy was completely destroyed in the last 2 elections. Correction, we do not live in a democracy. I know what you mean, But we have to get away from saying that we live in a democracy. We do not live in a democracy. We have never lived in a democracy. This is a constitutional republic. Still, for now. Now people elect based on what the media has to say. Based on what the media has to say, they do not know who they really vote. No, they don't. Of course they don't. You know, when you go out on the street like Mark Dice does, and all you get from hoes and some bros is, oh, it's about time that we had a female. That's your criteria? That's your criteria for putting a person as the figurehead of the free world, putting them in the White House? That is what you are judging this on? There's been a whole bunch of whiteys and European descendants, and then we had our half-black. Well, now we got to have a woman. That shows you where people are at. That shows you where people are at. And it ain't good, brothers. It ain't good. Shinobi Wan, biggest lie, society provides security. I don't know. I think your kith and your kin provide security to an extent. To an extent. You know, definitely homogeneity provides security, a fundamental reinforcement of your culture and heritage. White people ain't got no culture. Yeah. What are all them fucking buildings out there? How about the motherland where we came from? There's some culture over there. Every one of those countries is known for something very, very decent and unique. There's some shit there, but something very, very decent and unique. That shows you just how fucking dumb Americans are. How dumb they are. If they weren't the consumer leaders of the world, there would be no use for them. Successful endeavors. Scorpion, look up the Gene Wars by Pastor Andrew Billings on Rumble. Interesting stuff. Frantic Missy, did you see that comedian? What's her name? Arg? I don't know. Is her name Arg? Hey, how about that? If a woman made me laugh. Lee L. Talking about grooming gangs and heroes, Tommy Robinson's been calling them out for years now. He is public enemy number one. Yes, he is. Just recently, the Islamists blew up his car. Well, they didn't blow up his car. They just burned it. They didn't blow his car up. They just set it on fire, trying to kill him. I don't think that they were trying to kill him. They were trying to send him a message, obviously. He is definitely a target over there. And I got to tell you, folks, it wouldn't surprise me when you get the news that Tommy has been murdered. It wouldn't surprise me. You let this shit get a little cold and you ain't heard his name for 6 or 8 months, he'll end up dead. I hope not. I don't want to see it. Online Jedi at Hammerhand, have you seen the what Joe Biden hired for the American Nuclear Energy Department? The Transformer? Is that what you're talking about? The one that General Milley went to school with and played football with? Is that the one you're talking about? Yeah, it's possible. Maybe I saw it. Frantic Missy, the one that passed out on stage after bragging about getting the vax. No, I didn't see that. Was that the redhead or Chelsea Handler? I didn't see the actual event, but I saw the two of them like in the same day. I think it was the redhead, right? Yeah. But they'll justify it, won't they? They'll sit around and they'll tell you all day long, greatest fucking thing I've ever done. It's amazing. And then they fucking fall out. Whatever. What the fuck ever. Oh, man. Benjamin Berg, are you on Wikipedia? Hammerhand? No. It wouldn't surprise me if an entry popped up, decreeing this European ancestor of bigotry and racism and hatred, endorser of Hugh White Supremes. Wouldn't surprise me. To be honest with you, I got to say, I really don't know. Maybe somebody has done that. I don't know. I doubt it. But even if it was, it's whatever. If you're using Wikipedia as a source of information, a primary source of information, you're fucked in the head anyways. So good luck with that. Gents, we're at the 2-hour mark. I think I'm going to take off. You know what I tell you, man? Every single day above dirt is a great day. Even if it's a shit sandwich. Don't give in to the temptation of exiting this life because things are hard, because things are difficult, because you're confused or hurt. Confusion and hurt passes. Your soul will help you galvanize, even if you're alone. I promise you that. I promise you that. With all of the help that you have here, even though it's just audio or video help, it's not in person, it's not real life, and that helps a lot. You have more help and more options here right now than you've ever had at any point in your life. So you don't have to stay low. You don't have to snuff out the only light that matters. That's that light of life. Live long and prosper, and I'll catch you on the next one.